this advancing age at 65 years and above. It is commoner in males. Male gender, I always tell people, have you heard about a woman slumping at work? Women don't slump. It is a male thing. And then, of course, when a woman attains menopause, they get to that,
Okay, so does estrogen have anything to do with
protecting
the woman?
Protective, very, very, very protective. So when we lose the estrogen by surgery or by
just like
age,
the men.
yes, we get as strong as the men. Okay, so, male gender, menopausal, then family history. If someone's dad or first degree relative dies before 40 years or 50 years, we need to know why. And that is why when we go to hospital, we ask, are your parents alive and what could have happened? So someone who gives a history like my father slept and died, we would want to know that there might be something, and we look at that family. So those are the non-modifiable. Then the modifiable ones are behavioral, smoking, sedentary lifestyle, love of highly saturated foods, love of, eating very fatty meals and things, being sedentary, lack of physical activity, lack of eating, vegetables and fruits. These are all behavioral.
You mentioned sedentary lifestyle 3 times.
Yes.
Is it so important to actually have exercise for the heart?
Exercise is an activity that I want to do to make myself better. But what the WHO is saying is just physical activity. We're not even calling it exercise anymore. Just sweeping your house, being active at your place of work, standing up, moving
Taking
around,
a walk,
doing your house chores is part of physical activity. But I've seen some people who want to watch the television, they ask their children to go and pick up that remote control. So it is just physical activity. Exercises, you get to the stadium, I'm going to do this for fitness, or I'm going to do this for a competition. But physical activity is what we are going for now, rather than exercise. But exercise is very, very good.
Okay.
Yes.
In the case of stroke, which we're not talking about today, there's something called FAST, where they talk about the facial expression is one side of the face dropping. Then they talk about the arm drift. Then the speech problem before they say time.
Then,
Now, do we have that kind of thing for a heart attack?
For a heart attack, what we say is, muscle. Time is muscle.
Okay.
Time is muscle because, we saw some partial blockages.
Yes.
Before we saw the full blockage. So when the chest pain comes on, or the chest pain equivalent, I've told you that the chest pain equivalent might just be unusual weakness, unusual, dizziness, then someone really needs to call the ambulance and start heading to the hospital. Because the ambulance in Nigeria, so that is one of the. But the good news is that the heart attacks are not very, very common in Nigeria, but the risk factors are coming up, and it's going to get more. It's going to be epidemic soon.
So we need to either lose the risk factors.
Yes. So I haven't talked about the other risk factors. The modifiable risk factors, I talked about the behavioral. The other modifiable risk factors are the biological ones: presence of hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol in blood, and obesity. Then psychosocial, anything that makes us unhappy, anything that stresses us up, will set up some chemical reaction that makes us more prone to having this, sticking together of red cells and the cholesterol.
So laughter is really good, like a medicine.
Good. Yes.
Okay.
It's good.
You shouldn't be sad.
No, we should try as much as possible to be happy.
Now, when we watched that video,
the
blockage was only partial. The heart was still beating, quite strong, I might add. Can somebody suffer a heart attack and come back to normal? Still be normal? No disabilities?
You see, the vessels are of different calibers and sizes. So it depends on where the blockage occurs. And a vessel supplies a little bit, like that black patch on the diagram is where that particular spot is where the attack has occurred. So the rest of the heart might be able to make up. 10 men are doing some job and 1 man falls. So they can make up. The other sides of the heart, the other segments and walls of the heart can pick up and take over
and continue.
But if the blockage is a little bit more proximal, is higher up, and the area it will serve, and if that black area becomes bigger, then we might not be able to, 5 men might not be able to do the job of 10 men.
Okay,
and
so
that might cause an immediate shock.
A man who has suffered this attack, would the person know that I'm not working at 100% anymore, I need to be careful? Or is it possible for him to suffer the heart attack and not know he had one?
We have silent heart attacks. Silent heart attacks are those that would happen in elderly people, in diabetics, because there is some issue with their perception of pain.
Okay.
So a few people can have a heart attack and not know. But if they have a reason to get to hospital, and we do things, investigations like EKG, ECG, we would see the fact that they have had it. And of course, you remember that we have lost some cells, 9 men standing.
Yes.
The person would, of course, have features of having lost some aspects of the heart, and then those would be the symptoms. These are not acute symptoms, but the person would notice that he's weak, he cannot climb upstairs without, being breathless now. Breathlessness now comes in, and if the heart is not working well, one of the things that would happen is cough. They will start coughing, especially at night, and the legs will start getting swollen. So we have different presentations. If someone has an immediate heart attack, it will be basically pain, and they would have lost such a huge amount of muscle that they would have shock, faint, and die. Or they could have an arrhythmia, a bad rhythm, and the heart will just stop, and then we need to, get the code blue, the ambulances, and get things going.
Okay, we'll talk about code blue, because I've heard that one, but that'll be when we come back. We're going on a short break. When we come back, you can call us. Welcome back. It's the time when you can call in with your questions. The number to call is 01-2206-842. That's 01-2206-842. Dr. Ajuluchukwu is in the house. Professor Ajuluchukwu is in the house. What is the singular thing, lifestyle change, let me say, that has the greatest impact on prevention of heart attack?
Well, if I have to make a choice, I would say low salt diet.
Low salt diet?
Yes, because hypertension is a great drive. Hypertension, and then we have a lot of hypertension, and hypertension is one of the modifiable risk factors. So we're also asking, why are we having a lot of hypertension? And one of the driving forces, one of the drivers